All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball, episode 45. Appreciate you guys tuning back in with us. Just here to discuss, some more relevant offseason topics today. Again, stick with us, guys. At the offseason, we're coming to an end here. We're not going to have to be scraping the barrel for topics anymore. I know anybody who does football news, they feel us right now. It's very tough when the offseason is just training camp news. Things aren't as exciting, but we still got some stuff that needs to be discussed, things that are probably on your mind just as well as ours. And also at the end of the episode, we're going to respond to some comments that we have seen that really caught our eye from TikTok. Maybe your comment will be responded to. Stick around to find out.
Yeah, we're going to try to do the TikTok comments every week just to kind of engage with the audience a little bit more. But in our first topic, we're going to be talking about where Jonathan Taylor is going to be going, if he's going anywhere. I don't know if you guys have been following just kind of like the chronicles of Immerse and Jonathan Taylor going back and forth at each other on Twitter. Right now, Jonathan Taylor is requesting a trade. Jim Irsay says you're not getting a trade or an extension. So I guess my question is, Dobbs, where do you think Jonathan Taylor ends up playing next year?
So as of right now, let me just start off by saying, like tangent, but I'm going to get off this quickly. Dude, Jim Irsay just cracks me up. I mean, like that dude, he just cracks me up. I mean, there's a lot, I can say a lot of stuff about the guy. I believe it at the fact that he just cracks me the hell up. But there's a lot of things on the situation. So where I think I might see him play, to be honest with you, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm going to make a move at him. I almost feel like in the weirdest way, I don't know. Again, do you want to pay him that extension? That's, I guess, where things come into play with that. But if he could stay healthy and be on the Chiefs, that'd be amazing. And I know I've heard some rumors about that, but you know how rumors go. It's usually a bunch of bullshit. I also heard a rumor that the Bears would be a really good spot for him. And that was something that potentially could happen. But I don't think that Poles is going to take a risk on that. I think that's much more of a, you have to be established, with someone like when you're in an established role and you have your job is more secure. So maybe you take a shot. I don't think Poles is going to be taking a shot on Jonathan Taylor. I'm not buying that one. So like we were saying, bro, this is where the problem comes in with the Jonathan Taylor situation. The problem comes in is where it's like, we know he's incredibly talented. It's like, who's going to take the risk? Who's going to have the money on the shelf to actually take the risk? Right. That's where a lot of this is really tough. And there's a lot of variables, but all in all, like, I feel like we're going to see him back on the Colts, because whenever I feel like we're going to see a player in a new situation and it's like a guarantee, their situation is completely screwed and they're not going to be able to reconcile with the team, like the Deebo Samuel situation, it somehow ends up where it reconciles and things are fine. And this just has that same feeling to it.
I agree. I think we see him back on Indianapolis. I think it also has to do with in reality, like the teams that are willing to trade for a running back are typically teams that are already competing and need like that one last piece. And they're usually strapped for cash because they're a good team. So they already have all their pieces. And I don't think that like these teams are going to be willing to drop, 15, 16 mil a year on a running back. And I don't know if that's what Jonathan Taylor's asking for. I think he sees himself as a top 3 back in the league, which is a fair assessment, but it's just like, I don't see a team like the Bills, Chiefs, Dolphins, or Eagles willing to pay that. And also, I mean, like, are you willing to give up like a 3rd rounder for a 1-year rental of a Jonathan Taylor? And I don't even know if that's enough to get the Colts to part with them. And then at the end of the day, like if you're Jonathan Taylor, like the whole point of all this going on is an extension. So if you get traded to a place and they're not willing to extend you, are you even going to play for them? So it's kind of like it's a really difficult situation. I don't see Jonathan Taylor going anywhere because Jim Irsay, like you said, no intent to extend or trade him. It's just a tough situation for running backs all around. Obviously, like Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, all we're going through this. Josh Jacobs obviously still not signed, but at the end of the day, like, is Jonathan Taylor going to miss out on all this money? Like, not playing this year? I don't think so. I think the Colts kind of call his bluff. Like, but if he sits out, I feel like Josh Jacobs has a way higher chance of sitting out.
No,
because then you
honestly,
got 2 of the best backs in the league not playing.
That would be kind of crazy. I have so much to say on this subject. I'm trying to figure out how to censor certain parts out, so I don't have to I'm not just trying to go and just keep rambling. But I think if I had to narrow down the most prevalent thought in my mind, I think this is what it is. And this is something, again, the whole league as a whole, running backs, this is the consensus everyone's got to come to because it's the reality. And again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but again, this is the reality in the situation where everyone's got to come to this realization is one, Because what it comes down to is the guys that are cutting the contracts, they look and they see like, okay, name me any other position group where you could have a star player at that position group go down. And then you could have a rookie come in and produce incredibly similarly. That there isn't, besides running back. That's the only time you ever see it in the league. Is the star goes down and the fucking rookie comes in out of Tulsa and rushes for 1,000 yards, or from fucking Texas mining and agriculture. It doesn't. You get Texas A&M is a good school, but it could be Minnesota agriculture and mining. You get the point. It's like, bro, these dudes come from anywhere. They produce in the NFL, and even if it's for a short time. That's kind of the trend, and that's the point. Is you can count on a lot of these guys, almost all of them, to produce highly for a short period of time if they're in a good situation. Which brings me to the ultimate finale point of all this. Would you rather pay a really good running back to have to run really hard and stay healthy and all these variables and absolutely just break apart the defense? Okay, that's one situation. Or would you like situation B, where you don't pay your running back a lot, but they don't have to do all that extra shit because you have a perfect O-line and you have all these other variables like good receivers that stress the box less, so that you get what I'm saying? So you're either paying the running back a lot to make up for all the holes you don't have, or you have a running back that you don't need a star running back because you don't have holes. Right. I think I like option B a lot more. And that's where all the GMs are seeing it as. Why would I pay you to be someone I need you to break 4 tackles when I could just have someone come in where you're not going to break really any tackles because my line is solid.
Also, it's like, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Jonathan Taylor has a lot of miles on him. He was a 4-year starter at Wisconsin. And at the end of the day, like kind of going off your point of like not paying a star running back, you could invest in like a running back room that has like different like capabilities and everything like that. And obviously like having a star, like that doesn't replace having a star running back, but like teams have to game plan differently. I know you said that last week on our show.
Like, absolutely.
So it's just like, it's almost not worth it for these GMs to invest 15, 16 mil a year on these guys who peak in year 1 or 2.
They don't play every formation. That's the whole point. Like we were saying, bro, it's like certain running backs, they all play different. Like you have different roles. Why would I pay you $16 million if you're not even blocking on third down? It's like real shit. And that's really how things are going nowadays. It's like all these things have to be but they have to be realized. Yeah. And running backs are almost the ones I feel like that need to realize it the most right now. Because again, like we said, Players Association does have to do something to help these guys out when it comes to contract year and stuff, or even the rookie contracts. But everything else at this point, I mean, the valuation of how the contracts go, it's happening for a reason.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, it could hinder Anthony Richardson's development, which would be sad because I think he would benefit from a strong partner in the backfield.
That's why I was sad about this.
Yeah. But staying on the topic of running backs, we're going to go to NOLA. Alvin Kamara is likely facing a suspension. We've kind of known this has kind of loomed over this situation for quite a while.
Too long.
Yeah, after that incident in Las Vegas, the Saints last year were 19th in rushing yards, 18th in run grade via PFF, 26th in run block via PFF, and tied 6th least for rushing touchdowns last year. So the run game already wasn't super strong. They signed Jamal Williams in the offseason, and they drafted Kendre Miller in the draft this year. I don't know like how much this really affects the Saints. I don't think the suspension was going to be super long, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. It's up to you to kind of explain a little bit more. You're a little bit more informed on the Saints. I just don't see like where this has like a drastic effect on the Saints. And also that I think that has to do with the suspension not being so long. I'm just guessing, but
no, yeah. So, well, you're absolutely right, bro. Number one, like, I don't think it's going to affect us that much because number one, for whatever reason, Pete Carmichael, once Sean Payton left, he became allergic to throwing the ball, drawing plays up where Alvin Kamara gets the ball in the flat. So that was a big part of the reason the production went down a lot. Yeah. And Alvin Kamara is clearly frustrated about it. You know, I'm sure he misses the days where it was like, hey, hear me out though, coach. Like, just throw me out on like a little dump on the side, like every play, because I'm productive there. Like he's, I don't know, just Alvin Kamara's been out of sorts recently with the way the play's been designed for him. There's a lot of things about it. But what I also want to say on this is I hope the suspension's very early on in the season, because what I think would happen is, and again, every Saints fan will tell you this, if you give Alvin Kamara a lot of rest, it's like at certain points of the year, he comes back and he's very fresh. And if he doesn't have times where he's rested, sometimes he'll come out and look a little, you can just tell, like you just tell he's a little beat up. And again, the older he gets, the more concerned I am with that. This is not like I would have been worried about this 3-4 years ago, but as he gets older, You know, you can see the age a little bit. And so it's like, I want to keep him as healthy as possible. As if we can have him as fresh as possible for the end of the year, I'm all for that. Like, I'm cool with that. So I hope the suspensions early on in the year, we get it out of the way early versus he gets hot and then has to cool down. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be the best case.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, like, I feel like he's kind of at the tail end of like where he can be productive. He is 28 now. I agree though. I think that is also a reason he went ahead and he's the one that actually went to meet with Goodell. So I think he was trying to get out in front of it, obviously for optics to make the league look better and handling it too. So I think that could benefit him. And then also like, hopefully it is early in the season. I think maybe he went to that and be like, yo, can you just, if you're going to do something, can you hand it down? Because we heard about this for so long and then we heard nothing. And now we're hearing about it.
That's got to be stressful for him too. Exactly.
So it's like I'm sure now that we're hearing about it again, a judgment is going to come down soon. So it'll be interesting. I think that's really the extent we can talk about it. I don't think, like it'll give opportunities to the rookie, Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams. Should be able to take over for that time. I mean, they have a good running back room, so it shouldn't really affect the Saints that heavily, but you'd like to see Kamara a little bit used a little bit more this year.
For sure, bro. I need to see actual routes designed for him again.
Yeah. But going back to training camp news, man, I'm struggling today with my words. Kupp injured, hamstring sprain. This man has had a lengthy injury history. August 2017 groin injury, 2018 concussion, 2018 MCL sprain, 2018 ACL tear, 2021 knee bruise, 2022 October he had an ankle sprain, and then in 2022 of November had a high ankle sprain, which put him on IR for out for the rest of the year. 2023 this year in training camp he has a hamstring sprain. They don't think it's going to keep him out too long, but he is 30 years old, and it's like these injuries are really adding up. He's been injured almost every year. They're from 2018 to 2021. At the end after 2018, he didn't have another injury to 2021, but he's getting older. The Rams depth chart is DeMarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, and Puka Nacua. If Cooper Kupp goes down, I mean, I can see them throwing the ball a lot, but I don't know. It like really no pun intended, it really hamstrings the offense.
It literally does. And bro, I have a lot of things to say about the subject, but I think I want to open it with so I said this before we started recording. The arc of his career, it's by no means truly the beginning of it really is not that similar, because I would say that Michael Thomas had a much more steady rise. You're kind of like, he's getting consistently better. But Cooper Kupp was kind of like, yeah, that's a productive slot receiver. And then out of nowhere, it was like, wow, that's the best receiver in the league. Very different jump of an arc. But in terms of like going and just having that ultimate alpha season and then just having a steady decline afterwards, I think, unfortunately, him and Michael Thomas are going to be very similar in that development of how things go at the end of the career.
Yeah.
And it really sucks because, and this is really the main thing, is two of the most talented receivers we have had in our generation, we have not even been able to see really at their peak. We got to see them at their peak for one season. And really, because these two guys really would have been, but genuinely, like if they could have stayed healthy their whole career, these guys could have gone for 1,500 easily for the 4 or 5 years in a row. I mean, like Julio Jones type seasons consistently. They just haven't been able to have the health for it, unfortunately.
I honestly think Michael Thomas is in a different boat though, because since his rookie year, he was producing in 2016 to 2019, he was producing like a top receiver. And then he hasn't played more than half a year since 2020. 2020, he played 7 games and that was it. Didn't play in 2021, played 3 games last year. So it's like Cooper Kupp, he had a great year in 2019 and a great year in 2021. Average year last year, but he only played 9 games. So he could have had a great year, but it's like Michael Thomas produced a lot more for longer. So I wouldn't put him in the same boat, in my opinion. But Cooper, I understand what you're talking about. Like these great guys who are just they couldn't keep, their bodies can't keep up with them.
No, it's really unfortunate. And it's crazy because if you told me right now, I'm just seeing it's crazy. If you told me Cooper Kupp's only been a pro for 6 years, you'd be like, you sure it's not 7, 8? That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, the real reality of the situation is it's random. I didn't plan on saying this, but it's true. But really, Michael Thomas and Cooper Kupp actually would have been 2 of our generational receivers if their bodies could just keep up with them. We just never got to see them. It just never panned out that way, unfortunately.
That is kind of crazy. I never thought of it like that.
They really dominated the game differently.
Thomas was different.
They really, I'm telling you as a Saints fan, it was a different technician style where it's like, you know the ball's going to him.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter because it's like he's going to do everything you need to do on that route so crisp and perfectly. And it was the same thing with Cooper Kupp. It's the same thing. You knew the ball was going to him on every crucial down in the Super Bowl, you know, but it's like you can't stop it because he's going to find a way to make sure that you don't cover it the right way. Like this is just two elite receivers that's bodies, unfortunately. Yeah, bro, just couldn't keep up with them. It sucks.
So moving on to A-Rod. Took a $35 million pay cut. I know it's kind of old news, but I mean, it's significant. Like, it really is. Like, if you go into next year, this year and next year, like, they have about $15-16 million to spend. But the nice thing is, like, you can do cap gymnastics.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, and you told me that he said the reason he took the pay cut is because more bigger names are moving at the trade deadline.
Yeah, like,
which is true. The trade deadline in the NFL has actually been entertaining the last 2 years.
It's become NBA-ified.
Yes, it's not at that level, but it's getting there. I think teams are more willing to take the chance on players, which is awesome. It just provides for so much more like content and like excitement. But I don't know, like okay, so you can get crazy and say Devontae reunion. I don't personally think that's what's happening. I think he sees his window in New York and he's saying, okay, you know what? I've made my money. I'm getting a lot of sponsorships probably out here in New York. I need to win another ring. I think he feels if he wins another ring, he's like kind of solidified as like one of the GOAT quarterbacks.
Even though it's funny because he totally already is.
He is, but like you have so many people that will come at like the one ring type guys. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks that have one ring.
No, right.
Two.
Me personally, I do. Side note, but me personally, I do think that's a bunch of foolery more often than not. Because again, I could point back to so many moments where A-Rod really should have had a second Super Bowl. I said birth. Why do I always say that whenever I'm talking about births or sport? No, I like multiple opportunities where A-Rod should have had a second Super Bowl berth. But the main one that comes to mind is the onside kick against the Seahawks. Again, where it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm big on it, the whole thing. It's like football at the end of the day is very much a team game. It's like we can't, I can't sit here and like blame A-Rod for the fact that like plenty of times where he did everything he could have done that they didn't get the job done as a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, and you are right that there will be people that will if he doesn't get that second ring. And I think he knows that. He's playing that chess. He's playing 3D chess. He knows that shit. He doesn't want to deal with it. He wants to just shut everyone up. They don't even have a chance to do it.
And no, it's kind of crazy. And I don't think he did it for this, but it's kind of crazy that this kind of comes up right as Hard Knocks is about to start.
Didn't even think about that. Like,
August
tell me how I didn't think of this at all, bro.
So it's just going to probably paint him in like a good light. Like it's going to be like, we've never seen a quarterback or athlete take a pay cut like this.
Well, I mean, let me say it. I want to give a lot of credit where it's due.
I respect it, bro. That's a lot of money.
We're very much in this era of dudes that are like, I'll sacrifice everything to win. Like if I don't win, it doesn't like, I come out here only to win. And it's like, but like you literally holding your team hostage for like 200 million, bro. Like this is putting your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Literally.
Forced to respect it.
Like that's actually like a guy saying I'm desperate to win and then showing you. He's like, yeah, no, I actually sacrificed $35 million that could have been in my bank account to have a chance to win. Yeah. Not just to win, because if it was guaranteed, everyone would do it potentially. But this is not even a guarantee. This is just increasing a chance. I mean, it's like, it speaks to his desire.
I honestly think we might see Burrow I don't think he's going to take less necessarily, but I think like maybe the way he structures it, and I know the Bengals aren't like super like hip to the way they structure contracts, but I think he's going to do what he can to keep like him, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase together for as long as he can.
No, for sure. And we know Joe Burrow's in that same boat where it's like the endorsement money. He could literally take no NFL money and live his entire life on endorsement money.
Oh, yeah. Like for 100%. Sure. So do you have anything else left on this? I don't really know how much there is to talk about with them.
No, yeah. The only thing and Jets fans know this, I think big reason also, he's doing this is he knows at most, I'd say like if we're being like realistic and generous even, I'd say he has at most 3 to somehow 4 if he could stretch that. Years to bring home another Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that's I'm sure how he's thinking of it. It's like I could take home this money or I could leave the money and know for a fact that I gave everything in those last 3 or 4 years. And that's what he did.
Oh, I think there's a chance he plays 4.
That would, again, a guy
I
like
think
Rodgers,
he's very happy with the Jets right now.
and well, the way he plays too, it's like, it's very much like if the O-line is not going to let him get touched, he's not going to go out there and get touched. I mean,
No.
he's literally just going to stand in that pocket and drill things. So it's like,
No.
if that O-line protects him, he definitely could.
It'll be an interesting year. On paper, the Jets O-line is good. We just need to see if they can stay healthy.
I was going to say, now we just got to see him pass their physical.
Now, staying on the Jets, kind of, the Hall of Fame game, first preseason game, is tomorrow, August 3rd. How excited are you? We haven't watched football in forever.
Bro, that was honestly, that was like my real raw natural response to you. But if I had to put it in like words without geeking out like a child, I would say like, bro, I'm literally fucking, I'm geeked at 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like I actually can't stop thinking about football. This is ridiculous, but true. I've been like straight up struggling to sleep the past few days, bro.
Really?
Yeah, like literally geeking for this fucking game, bro.
That's
I'm struggling to
crazy.
sleep for football because it's not even just this game. It's like knowing that this game is the start of a whole season of fun. Like this is like our time of year. If you love football, like this is that time of year now.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm awakening in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, it's fucking football season, dog.
I am hype. I'm very hype. I am not gonna be able to watch it live, sadly. So I'm gonna put my phone on D&D and record the game and watch when I get home. I'm excited to watch Jason Brownlee. You know who that is. He's been making some noise in training camp. I know he's not starting, but I really want to see DTR. He was probably one of my favorite like late round quarterbacks
Cheesing for DTR
in the draft. But yeah, I mean, it's preseason. It's gonna look like shit sometimes, but like it's football and it's just getting so close.
And to that point, this is something I wanted to say because I used to like, before I became like more serious and I actually like really started taking football seriously and like watching it seriously with like a, just with a serious eye, actually paying it serious attention. When I was more casual, not that I hated preseason, but I can, vividly remember saying things along the lines of how I feel a lot of people say. It's like, oh, let's just get this over with. Like this is so unnecessary, quotes like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because it's something every fan should start thinking about. If you want to enjoy preseason, again, because you can. I love preseason. You don't go, again, like you just said, you can't go in here expecting like top of the line professional football. But if you watch it and you understand that what you're potentially seeing is somebody very raw that could have a really high skill level on your team in the future, and you get to sit there and watch their intangible talent, that's the fun of it, is you kind of get to sit there and you're kind of just looking at for the future. Like, oh, I might see that guy on a roster, succeeding in 2-3 years somewhere random. And you will. That's the fun of it, is you literally watch a guy 1 year playing on the Jaguars in preseason. He'll be like the Colts starting running back like 3 years later. Yep. And you'll be like, oh, cool. Like that was his journey. Like that's how you have to watch preseason and you'll enjoy it. Is you have to understand you see these guys, you might not see the same uniform ever again, but you'll see them and you guys remember more and more and then you'll enjoy it.
So who do you think is going to win? I'm pulling up the odds right now.
Please do.
I'm pulling up the odds right now. Just without the odds, what are you thinking?
I think Zach Wilson is going to play very good preseason football. Like I feel like in terms of, obviously it was in terms of like his NFL starting, like in regular season, it's like, well, he left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
But I'm going to lean Zach Wilson as the starter. I think he'll be able to at least drill a few touchdowns in there and he'll throw a few nice balls. Like,
if you think about it, it's kind of got to be the Jets. I mean, like Zach Wilson, like just has so much more experience than probably anybody playing in this game.
If DTR comes out and outplays him, I don't care that it's preseason. That's already super fucking concerning.
DTR is a dog. I can't find the line for the game. I can't find the line.
They might still be trying to figure it out based off of who's going to start, etc.
I think the Eagles were, or not the Eagles. I think the Jets were the favorites, but I could be wrong. But yeah, no. So that's going to be fun. Football is almost back.
So excited, bro.
All right, we're going to be answering some comments on the TikTok, just ones we picked out, even if they weren't meant to be answered, because I don't know. Some of these are just like, I feel like I got to answer them. So I'll go first with one. We can switch off.
Yeah, let me pull up my phone here, bro. I got mine on my phone.
Okay, so the first one is from Gabe Q. He goes, this is from a TikTok where I said, the Packers aren't going to be bad this year, but I can see the Bears, being better than them. So his comment said, the Packers are so much better, it's not even funny. Love is already a better passer than Fields, and he started one game. So let's look at the stats from last year, okay? The Bears were 3-14, Packers 8-9. The Bears were last in pass yards last year. There's a lot of variables for that. The Packers were 19th. The Bears were first in rush yards. Packers were 15th. The offensive points, the Bears scored 222. The Packers only scored 234.
I would say that's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be reading that.
So less than 2 touchdowns. No, literally exactly 2 touchdowns.
No, yeah, I was like right on that.
So the pass defense was 6 for the Packers and 26 for the rush defense. The Bears had the 18th best pass defense and the 31st run defense. The Bears allowed 371 points and the Packers allowed 280. So obviously a bigger jump in that defense, but we know why. So let me answer this for you, Gabe Q. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why the Bears will be better than the Packers next year, at least in this sense Okay. Oh, that was my timer. My bad. All right. So I'll tell you why. I'm just gonna restart it here. So first off, you guys were 19th in pass yards and only scored 2 more touchdowns than the Bears if you want to look at points. Okay. You guys lost a Hall of Fame quarterback and have all young receivers who are unproven. Christian Watson is promising, but you can't guarantee that. Okay. Justin Fields got a guaranteed number 1. They got Claypool, whatever you feel about him, number 2 or 3. You have Darnell Mooney. You have Cole Kmet, who's another year in the league. They got a solid right guard, a 5th-round rookie left tackle who was one of the best rookies last year.
He's just one of the better tackles.
One of the better tackles in the league. And he's going to year 2. We drafted a top 10 tackle this year. So the O-line is drastically improved. The wide receiver room is drastically improved. Fields is in year 2 of the offense. So let's say the Bears stay within a top 5 rushing team. If the Bears have a top 15 passing team, which I think is very doable, how are they not like better than the Packers?
No, yeah, like
the Packers have an older O-line. The running backs, yeah, they're okay. They're good. The running backs are good, but they're older.
No, yeah, for sure.
There's so much variables with the Packers right now, and it's like the Packers are not. Yes, maybe like the top end talent, but like the defense, the Packers rush defense wasn't even that good last year. And they lost Adrian Amos as one of their safeties. The Bears improved everywhere on defense. Like,
basically, yes.
Literally everywhere on defense. So, yeah, the fact that you think, like, Love is better than Fields and he hasn't even played games, like, yeah, okay, we'll see. But, I mean, the stats from last year aren't that crazy different. It's actually crazy how not different they are.
No, yeah, it's funny you just said that because it literally leads me into exactly what I was going to say. And this is what cracks me up about this because I was actually just talking literally to a buddy about like something, like this exact subject. I don't know you were going to pick this one, but like this exact subject yesterday. Because, and again, they were like ripping on Jordan Love. But this is the point I'm trying to make is I think what we were discussing is when you look at what they put on tape in college, there's throws they can make. It's actually just like very similar stuff, which my point I'm trying to make is there's not like this gap really either way everyone's trying to make like in terms of, oh, they're throwing, he's a much better thrower than, it's like they both made really good NFL throws on tape in college. That's both what they did. But the difference is that Justin was doing it against much higher competition. Yeah. Really at the end of the day, that's basically the only difference. So to sit here and act like Jordan Love is this absolutely, world-class throw of the ball in terms of like we saw Justin put like the exact same throws on tape. Yeah. It's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And also, I don't think Jordan Love has the rushing ability of Fields.
I would say he has some, but absolutely not he doesn't have that rushing ability of Fields. He can get out there with his legs, but it's not going to be anything juking and spinning.
And we've never seen Matt LaFleur without Aaron Rodgers.
That is going to be the thing I'm most interested about. If the NFC North this year, that actually might be the most interesting thing. Like, forget about all the fun stuff with the Lions and Trey Lance potentially to the Vikings. Like, that might be the thing I'm most interested about with the NFC North because that is either going to expose the man. Not that we know he's a good offensive mind, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. We're talking about in terms of leading the locker room, being the guy that leads the team. He might not be that guy, at least yet. I don't know. We're going to find out. Without A-Rod, I'm saying. With A-Rod, we know he could lead the team, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. So summary, no, the Packers are not so much better. They're actually closer than you think. And we'll have to see about Love and Fields this year. I'm going to put my money on Fields. Obviously. Bears hat. Bears training camp twice this year. So obviously there's a little bit of bias here. But All right, next comment from XX the Miza XX. My bad, bro. I'm just gonna do this
No,
one. I completely forgot.
No, I was gonna say you can. We also could just
Let's just run through them.
so you just run through them and then I'll run through mine.
Okay. So he said this is about Trey Lance possibly being traded to the Vikings. He said Trey Lance isn't better than Cousins though. Vikings' best bet is to scout well and draft their future franchise quarterback. Lance is a bust like Wentz. Okay, so there's so much wrong with this comment. Cousins is set to be 35 this year. Yes, Lance is not better than him now, but I'm willing to argue that Lance is a much better athlete and prospect than Cousins ever was. Lance has only paid 1.5. He played 1.5 games last year. There's zero way to tell what he'll actually be in the NFL. He's 23 years old. To say he's a bust, ignorant. Cousins was drafted in the 4th round. Trey Lance was drafted in the 1st. So to say that their best bet is to scout well and draft their future franchise QB is so just, there's no correlation. Cousins was drafted by the Commanders. And also,
honestly.
Let's just point this out. Dante Culpepper was the best quarterback they drafted, and he was drafted in 1999. And obviously, like, they've drafted some people past them, but like that most recently, that's the best guy they've drafted.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you really think the Vikings are set to scout the next quarterback when they haven't drafted a great quarterback in the last 20 plus years?
It's a great point.
Do they have time to develop a rookie quarterback? Their team is ready to kind of win now. Their line can last a little bit longer, but you think Justin Jefferson wants to go through a rebuild? They aren't bad enough to draft high. So, like, please tell me where they get the quarterback.
That's actually, and again, we talk about you gotta take shots, right? Well, you gotta take shots. Again, and I understand where people are coming from too. Like, I know there's certain reports like, oh, Trey Lance still struggles with certain things. Like, I'm not sitting here saying none of that's true. Again, what I'm saying is we're still a really young guy with a super high ceiling, and sometimes you gotta take shots.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't believe Kirk Cousins is the guy that's gonna lead you to the promised land.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cousins is obviously the better quarterback now, but what about in 2 years?
That's exactly. And this goes into the ceiling thing. And if you really actually commit to Trey Lance, nobody's really, like, he's not been committed to yet.
No.
He was committed to the day of the draft. And then when the injury happened, all that shit went out the window, obviously.
Well, I think the 49ers also realized that, like, their window is kind of closing. Even George Kittle acknowledged it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, well, Purdy's the guy we know we can win with now. So why will we experiment with Trey Lance?
Exactly. No, 100%.
So moving on to the next comment, Jack Ganzel, he said, this is about the Lions, just their success this year. And he goes, a playoff threat that has a chance to upset. And I think that is, it's not really like a response to a comment or like a question of it. It's just like, I think that's the best way to put it. The Lions are coming off a hot finish to the 2022 season. They're looking to make a playoff push in the weak NFC. They can fight for the NFC North title so they can secure a top 4 seed. And if they make it past the divisional game and get hot at the right time, I feel like they can go toe to toe with anyone. I feel like so many people are like either super down on the Lions or super, super high. But like what he said, a playoff threat that has a chance to upset is, I think, the perfect way to describe the Detroit Lions in 2023. It's just such a, like, they're a threat to any team they play if they get hot.
No, absolutely. Like, that's, I've been very big on the train of like that this team is just criminally underrated. And again, it helps a lot when you look at the team like how we do on a chart where you can kind of see like where they grade out and round out compared to other people to play the same position where you see the whole team at once. Again, they have a lot of guys that are like it in terms of how they are evaluated at the upper echelon of their position. Again, not like star names, but I'm talking about production last year, tape last year, guys that are putting out good tape. They have guys at like almost every position putting out a lot of good tape. And young guys, it's not like they're getting older guys in. These are a lot of young guys that have a chance to make a big jump this year. Yeah. So I'm very much with you where it's like, if they had another season similar to this year, then it would be like that upset approach. But I'm almost at the terms where it's like, this might not even be like an upset if they could beat somebody good in the playoffs. It's almost like they have a good regular season. To your point, they are a very good team where they could go in.
Very good team.
They're a well-built team. Like the trenches, and trenches where it starts. Me and my trenches. Like that's where the Lions have that. Like they have the competitive puzzle pieces.
Yeah, 100%.
Knocking the mic.
100%. So yeah, shout out Jack. That was a great comment. Honest is the username. This is about the Bears being a top 10 offense. He said top 10, reach. Not a reach. I don't care about the hat. Not a reach. The Bears already had the number 1 rushing offense this year. They improved the line and receiving core drastically. Year 2 in the same offense. Justin has time to develop with the core. Not a reach in the slightest. It's really not a reach, bro. Like people who don't watch the Bears, like, yes, like the flashy moments were few and far between, but when they were flashing, it was just like you could tell they were building. It wasn't just like, oh, they hit a hole or like something like that. Like they were flashing. The O-line, man, if they can just get the passing game, like I was saying, in the top 15, not a reach. Not a reach. The running game should improve this year, and they were already number 1 in the league last year.
Like, but yeah, you know, I've been, you know, if you've watching the show, you know how I've been very high on the Bears offense, and I've been kind of gassing you guys up. You know, I've been gassing the Bears offense up, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Like, again, back to my chart real quick. You know, when you look at the Bears offense on a chart, you see it. There's green everywhere. Like they have guys that are very good at their position groups. And again, I think the Bears are just going to keep playing very much smash mouth centric football. And again, to a defense, that's like the most frustrating shit to play against. It's like we know what play is coming, but we're just getting out physicaled. And it's like that's the most frustrating way to lose games. That's what's crazy is, in my opinion, that's how the Bears are going to be winning games this year. They're going to be winning games in the most frustrating way to defend against. And it's where it's like that just bodes where it's like already, yeah, like if you think that they're still going to be running the ball as heavy as they were last year, which they will, and the passing game even just makes like a smidgen of improvement, there is no doubt they could be a top 10 offense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And 100%. And also, like, another thing is, like, their defense is going to give them more opportunities this year. It's so much better. So it's like they're even going to be scoring more, hopefully, because the other team is going to be driving down the field, scoring every time.
Right.
You know
Taking 8 minutes off the clock.
Right. So it's just like the offense is could be easily top 10 this year. Not a guarantee, but it could. All right. Last comment here. We got Alex Kiefer. He said Tua isn't good and was drafted over a much better quarterback.
That's hilarious, though.
This was just in the Tua MVP talk that we made. So, first off, Tua's been plagued with injuries, and it's not just like regular injuries. Like Tua has been plagued with injuries, and not just regular injuries. It's been like head injuries, so problems with processing, everything like that. He can run the McDaniel system really well. They have the fastest receivers in the NFL. With a healthy year, Tua can repeat, if not improve, what he already was doing last year. Regardless if Herbert is better, that has nothing to do if he can lead an MVP campaign. It's the most valuable player. And it's like, in the Shanahan offense, you need someone to run the offense. He would be the most valuable player to that team if he can lead them to a deep playoff run. And obviously MVP is regular season, but he was putting up great stats last year. He's plenty capable. He's smart. He can lead Miami to the playoffs, possibly an AFC East title. He is for sure a top 15 quarterback in the league. It's no argument. To say he isn't good is ignorant. And the argument that he was drafted over a much better quarterback has nothing to do with him alone and him being an MVP.
No, I would say, yeah, you know, funny enough, you know, winning an award at the end of the year has nothing to do with where you were drafted. That is, you know, that helps Tua out in this case. Now, jokes aside, I'm with you 100% though. It's like, and this goes back to the Tua hatred narrative thing. Tua just, I don't know, dude. He's got a lot of haters. Like it's kind of getting weird.
He does.
So I feel like he hasn't done, you know, Tua seems like a good guy. You know, I don't know. I guess
He
a lot of Bama haters, you know, kind of like in the grass. Is that really weird? Is this where this comes from?
It's probably
he's like the one successful Bama QB, so now everybody's just snaking the grass on him.
He's just one of those guys that people don't like. I don't know.
It's weird. It's weird.
All right, those are my comments.
All right, bro. Just give me 1 second.
Of course. Yeah, so if you guys like this, we're going to keep doing it regardless if you guys like it or not, because I think it's probably going to drive engagement.
I think this shit's fun to do too. Like I enjoy it.
I like little calculating my little responses and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to like, and I feel like the more we do this, we'll get more and more comments.
Yeah.
Also, a little side note, but we appreciate you guys. Anybody you leave a comment ever, we appreciate you, man. We do.
Even if it's hating.
Yeah, literally, dude, you can hate in the comment section all you want. Just, you know, we appreciate the engagement. We really do.
Yeah.
Speak of a hating comment.
Okay.
All right, we got one here from NL Malik. What's going on, NL Malik? Appreciate your comment, bro. All right, so Malik says, what the hell? I'm gonna, you know, translate any acronyms or anything like that. What's going on here? He says, what the hell is this guy talking about? Yeah, the Bears improved a little bit, but the most pressure is on him, referencing Justin Fields, because the talk was about Justin Fields having the most pressure on him potentially of anybody in the league this year. And again, I know when you first hear that, it's like, okay, there are a lot of guys that would come to your mind of like, they have a lot of pressure on them. But again, we'll break down the situation. And somebody also responded to the comment saying basically what I'm going to say here. But again, we'll re-break it down because I get it though. If you don't really fully like think about the situation at hand, you don't think of it that way. But then when you consider that, okay, they skipped literally, in my opinion, a generational quarterback talent. Like they said to Bryce Young, essentially, dude, Justin's our guy. Like literally they said that. They didn't say it in English, but they said it in some verbiage. Like, we don't need you because we have Justin Fields. So that already puts a lot of pressure on Justin. Not even if you didn't want Bryce Young. Let's say you're an A Rich guy or you're a CJ Stroud guy. That's fine. They said the same thing to them too, right? So you take that in a year where your franchise has the first overall pick, and then you say to the fan base, this is the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land, because that's what you're doing. You're like, all these potential generational guys. No. We have our generational guy. That's what they said when they committed to him. So now in a city like Chicago, let me tell you guys from living, in Chicago, it's like if you don't perform after the city is committed to you and they gave you some rain and they put some faith in you, the response is not very warm typically. So like, I'm just saying from the perspective of living here and everything about it, if Justin doesn't perform this year, I'm telling you for a fact, there is certainly pressure on him. And he knows it and feels it, because you don't perform in this city after all the pressure that's been put on him, people are not going to be happy. That's just where it comes to from my point of view. Again, you could debate this, but if you think of it like that, I think it helps.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not going to go too much into it because like how I feel about it. It's just like, bro, it's like, what do you mean? Like, they passed up on the number 1 pick. Like, that's a lot of pressure. And they literally got a number 1 weapon for him and drafted a top 10 lineman to make sure that he is the guy.
I was going to say that. How about that for another thing? I completely blanked on it, but it was like, that was the other part about the comment I disagree with, is that he had said they only improved a little bit. I feel like the Bears maybe improved potentially the most, or some of the most out of all of the teams in the league this offseason. Where you look at a team that make huge jump, I think the Bears made a huge jump. So again, and to your point about the O-line thing, they skipped on a lot of guys that people really thought would have been a better quote unquote pick at the time to get, again, because that's the guy that they said is going to protect him. This was about protecting our guy.
Yep.
And goes back to the our guy thing. And when you're our guy in Chicago, you got to deliver. That's just what it comes down to.
100%.
All right, bro. On to number 2.
That was a fun comment.
That was a good one. All right. I got right here, we got a comment from Paris Campbell Season. Appreciate you leaving a comment, bro. It says, actually, it's kind of like 2 comments. I'll combine them into one here, and then Finn responds to this one. Literally just Finn in all caps. But so the first comment says, everyone loves throwing unnecessary shots at Daniel Jones. And the response to this comment says, I know, it's mad annoying. And the comment these comments were in reference to a talk that I said about Daniel Jones, how we're headed down a crash course where the QB market is in line to be reset soon, right? Because this is not going to work. I will tell you from just, I'm a logical person. I like to look at things logically. Logically, there is no way that GMs and owners are going to keep paying guys 1/4 of their entire salary cap that don't really help the team win that much. No. Because that's where we're at now. Again, I just used Daniel Jones as an example here, Paris Campbell Season. I could have used a lot of other guys. And that's the point. This is not an unnecessary shot. Do you understand that man is making $40 million US? You guys know that? This is $40 million US going into his bank account for playing mid-level at the quarterback position. Like, don't overcomplicate it. That's the reality. That can't keep happening. This has nothing to do with an unnecessary shot at Daniel Jones. Do you understand he became $40 million richer this year? I'll take as many shots at him as I want. It has nothing to do with him. It has to do with the money he is making, and money that other people that play the same position as him are making, where it's just not going to work long term. I'm sorry Daniel Jones is your guy. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. Just the fact that his salary and salaries similar to that are just not, this is not going to work long term. It's absolutely not.
I agree. I think you're going to see like a lot more quarterbacks start having to take like the Geno Smith contract. And I think that's kind of how it has to be when you're constructing a team and you're not like a superstar quarterback.
Like, why people I go back to Brady every time with this. There's a reason that the greatest, okay, if you're one of these people that, oh, Mahomes is now the GOAT, whatever, don't overthink it. Just the greatest at this time, Tom the GOAT Brady, right? Look, if the greatest quarterback of all time can sit there in a room by himself after and looking at all the accomplishments, everything he did for his team, and still go, I know in my heart that I got to sacrifice some money for us to have a real shot to compete at the highest level. That's all you need to know. That's the greatest of all time that was doing that. If you think that somebody who's much less talented than him and smart than him is going to step in here and demand double, triple the money and still be able to leave with the Lombardi trophy, you're lacking a brain.
No way.
I'm sorry. That's just, and again, I get it. Everyone loves their guy. Everyone loves their quarterback. But guys, we got to wake up where this is going to be, and people were saying this about running backs, I'm sure like 10, 20 years ago, and people hated them. They were probably like, what is the guy talking about? The running back carries the offense, yada, yada. Well, look at him now. Look at this now. It's the same situation, and everyone is going to, again, like you said, I think people are going to start seeing it more and more. The Geno Smith deal is going to be more common because it doesn't, why would I pay you 1/4 literally of everything I can pay all these 53 human beings? It just
doesn't make sense.
You got to look at it logically,
Does not make sense. I know I'd be sick if the Bears did that. I mean, they damn near did with Jay Cutler.
Look at how it went.
He got overhated in Chicago. I just think like the 7-year extension was a bit much.
Well, let's use Jay as the example of throw back to your last comment, but it's like that's the point is when you don't succeed in Chicago, off tangent, but even if you get paid a lot and you're supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
If you play even good, but you're not great, they're gonna let you know. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that contract at the time was crazy.
7-year, $126 million. I damn near threw up.
I remember. Oh, that one was crazy. But hey, move on to the next comment. Appreciate your comment though, Paris Campbell season. All right, on to the third one. We were talking about the one before we started. I thought this one was what I know you'll be interested in this one. All right, so from JC. All right, wait, JC and the Sunshine Band. Shouts to JC and the Sunshine Band. Appreciate your comment. I don't know if that's just one person or a whole band. I don't know. But if you're a whole, whatever, we appreciate the comment. I appreciate it. So I got the Bears lineup pulled up right here. Let me just stall for 1 sec as I pull up the Packers lineup to pull up side by side. But I can already get going on this tangent where it's like, and I was telling you this before, they're Packers fans. And again, it's just the rivalry you guys have, right? Like you guys always, Packers fans and Bears fans are never willing to look at each other objectively. You guys just aren't.
I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm willing to.
Yeah, like let me say most. Most are just because you're a logical man, bro. But most people just don't have that in them. Like they just can't get it. They can't sacrifice the pride of just actually looking at it objectively. It's like if we look at the situation objectively, the Packers and Bears in terms of roster talent, there's not like a humongous difference. That's why I think. I just say Bears fans and Packers fans, y'all crack me up with this because it's like my biggest rivalry, like Saints and Falcons fans. It's like we just hate each other. It's not like even if the other teams are good, we'll be honest. It's like they're good, but I just hate them. Like it's like I hate them. Like we just absolutely my blood boils. Screw that team. Like Packers and Bears fans, it's always just like there's no in between. Like that team just sucks. Like they could be so super competitive. You guys could have be the exact same team, and it's going to be that the other team sucks. I guess that's my point is I think you guys overthink it about each other is that you guys both are young, talented teams with budding stars and a few guys that are really lead at their position. And then you guys lack a few things in between. But I think, again, like similar situations. And I think that's just my main point is I think a lot of people overthink it. It's like the Bears and the Packers at the end of the day really aren't too much different. If Jordan Love ends up having that same potential that I think he has, and a lot of people think he has.
Yeah. Not much to say, man.
Yeah.
I how I feel about loving the Packers.
That's just my opinion because I've been a Jordan Love truther for a while, so I got to stick with it. But it's just it's like everybody always acts like there's a huge difference, and especially this year, I feel like you guys are much more similar than different.
Oh yeah, 100%. People think like one team is way better than the other. They're pretty similar this year.
Absolutely. Like I could see them. They could finish very close in record. All right. On to the fourth comment here from Dom. And then it's an emoji that doesn't register on my phone for whatever reason. Two emojis don't register.
You got to update, bro.
I got to get an update, guys. But yeah, so Dom with some emojis. Appreciate your comment, bro. Comment says, Hackett had Russell Wilson running an Aaron Rodgers offense. That's why Hackett will do good in New York, but did bad in Denver. Okay. So it was an interesting comment because got the gears turning in my head for this reason, right? okay, so I get where he's coming from, but I don't necessarily think that's everything about it, because I don't think that again, we're just assuming that Russell Wilson only plays well when he's playing on an improvisational style.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's true. I think that takes away from Russ's talent. I think that takes away from, again, I get what you're saying. Does he have great moments where he's playing completely off platform and completely just off script and it works really well? Like, absolutely, like for sure. But I don't think the fact that he had him running the Aaron Rodgers offense was the problem. I think the problem is just that it was a whole new style of offense. Again, so what you're saying is partially true. I'm not saying I disagree actually at all. I don't disagree. I just disagree in terms of I don't think it was the fact that it was the Aaron Rodgers offense. I just think it's the fact that it was a new offense. The point being, I don't think Russ can't play good on script. I think that because again, if you believe that, well, then you're in for a real shithouse this year, because Sean Payton's offense is fully on script. There is no off script in the Sean Payton offense. So, that's where it's like, and for people that draft him in one of our dynasty leagues for money on the line, me and Hunter co-manage, I can't be hearing it, because Russ has to play good on script. Because if he doesn't, we're screwed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think he'll be okay. I just think also another thing is regardless if Hackett was running of the offenses, I also think it was a thing of I don't think he was fit to be a head coach, and I think the players saw that.
That. Oh my God. Okay, so can I take us on a quick tangent real quick? Because I don't know actually how none of us thought of discussing this. Because I was driving here literally thinking about it. But quick side tangent. We'll get back to it. But it still does connect. With the Hackett thing, everybody's so up in their feelings right now about and I don't know how you feel about
Sean Payton
stuff Sean Payton said. Look, again, I might, you might, this might be a moment where some people think I sound like an asshole, but I'm fine with that because I'm an honest guy. If you know me in real life, I got love in me. But I think we've hit a point nowadays where people that are just brutally honest, everyone thinks they're being an asshole. And it's no, that's actually, believe it or not, that's what raw honesty sounds like. And people have just gotten so not used to hearing it because everybody wants to be they have on their back pad all the time. And it's we can't hurt anyone's feelings. Dude, the reality of the situation is he did a fucking terrible job. He's getting paid millions of US dollars into the bank account. And again, I'm going to let you give me your point of view in a sec here. But for me, it's just he was being raw and honest. Yes, maybe a little rude, maybe a little, some things he said, maybe a little unnecessary, right? Oh, maybe you could have gone without saying that. But the bottom line is that this is what he was trying to do, in my opinion. And this is what he did. He said, look, I'm not going to be your yes man. I'm going to come in here and do a really good job. I'm actually going to do a good job. I'm going to be the opposite of him. I can sit here and go to the media all day and be super friendly and all that stuff that he did while we're doing terrible and we're sucking and everyone's like, oh, he's such a nice guy. Or I could come in here, kick everyone's ass, actually get production out of it and say whatever I want because I know you're going to keep me here because the production I'm going to provide for you is actually going to be worth the money you're going to pay me. Again, I'm not saying that I would say the same thing. And if I was in Sean Payton's shoes and I would even address a situation like that, I'm very conflictual or however you'd say that. I avoid that type of stuff. I personally would not have acted the same way. However, again, Sean Payton doesn't think exactly how I think. Sean Payton wanted to make it very clear. And from my opinion, I look at it psychologically. I think that was kind of the point of what that situation was why it was happening. It was he's sitting there and he's saying to everyone, guys, I'm taking this seriously, and basically Hackett didn't take this shit seriously. I'm going to actually come and bring the heat every day.
No, I agree. I think the same thing too is they criticize these coaches and players for not being real. And then as soon as they're real, they get tore up. And it's whether you like the realness or not, at least he was being honest and people think he crossed the line and it was kind of just unnecessary. But at the same time, it's kind of there was not a single person calling him out for what he was saying. They never everyone was saying he was rude, but no one said he was wrong. So it's just okay, so it's universally agreed that he did a horrible job and everyone knew it. Someone just said it.
That's why sometimes the way the media handles things and stuff, it's oh, that was so mean. Let's just acknowledge it and put it fully on blast for everybody. It's if you just let it die out, nobody would even give a shit. If you didn't push the story, I wouldn't have even known Sean said that.
No.
See, that's where I think it's so ironic and funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting, bro. Yeah, it was that was a crazy day. I couldn't believe it was real. I thought it was fake. I thought like Butt Crack Sports or like Ball Sack Sports tweeted it out.
Bro,
like,
literally, Sean Payton was, dude, he was sitting, all season was too much for Sean. He wanted to get right back into the action. He's like, I'm coming in and I'm literally starting beef right away. He's like, I wanted to smoke. But yeah, appreciate your comment, Dom. It low-key drove a bunch of good discussion. So one comment leads to a whole discussion. We love it. All right. And then, see, my last comment was very similar to the one you had.
Yeah.
But I'll try to like break it down differently than like this one. Mine is from, that just wasn't the exact same comment you had, right? Mine is from Dizzy708. He said if Tua didn't get hurt last season, he would have won MVP. Basically agreeing with what we were saying.
No.
And my thing was, I was just going to, real quick, let me just pull this up because I got to pull up Tua's stats for this. But it was like we were saying earlier, people were really acting like, he was off pace statistically to have a shot to win the MVP if he played the whole season. Let me pull up my handy math in my head. Let me pull up my numbers in front of me here. All right, let me do some math because he started in 13 games. We know he absolutely did not finish every game he played in. There was plenty of tangents in there. It wasn't, and even even those 13 games. So we're missing a full literal 4 games of production. The 3,548 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Okay, I don't know the exact math of it. I'm not going to even sit here and pretend like I do or even give you, I'm not going to do that. But all I'm going to say is if we did the calculation of if we had each game, yards per game added on for every, what he averaged onto those 4 games and then the touchdowns, we'd be looking at a very, very solid, we already are looking at a solid stat line. We'd be looking at a beefed up stat line where you're like, okay, that's an upper echelon quarterback.
Yeah.
Again, and that's right, the Tua hater narrative. If you take the name out of it and you just showed someone Tua's stats, they'd be like, oh, wow. Like, that's a guy right there. Like, that franchise has got a guy. But it's like you throw Tua's name in and everybody just fucking loses their shit. It's like, I don't know, dude. It's, we kind of already said it before, but it's just, Tua's got, more than anything, Tua's got to come out this year and really kind of shut everyone up, I think. That's definitely got to be his mission.
That would be the biggest thing. If he can come out and just make everyone shut up, I think all the hatred goes away.
That's got to be.
Or again, they'll just be like system QB.
I just pray the man can stay healthy at the end of the day. Yeah. Really, that would be the number one thing. And if he could ball out on top of that, I would love to see it.
At the end of the day, who's not a system QB though?
Like literally,
everyone's a system QB.
That's where it's still like ridiculous.
You run the offense well. That's your job. You're a quarterback.
call us crazy.
Yeah, like come on, man.
That is hilarious.
That's it.
Hey, I'd say it was a fire show, bro.
Yeah, I like doing the comments. I like it a lot.
I'll say keep leaving comments. Yeah. We appreciate you guys leaving comments. We love addressing them. So please keep doing it.
Yeah, thank you guys for all the support too. Our page, all our pages have been growing, so it's been nice to see it.
Truly, we appreciate each and every one of you a ton.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, if you guys are watching on TikTok, I mean you won't see this part on TikTok, but if you guys are on YouTube, we have TikTok too, and then we're on Instagram as well. We upload all the same like reels and shorts everywhere. But yeah, just want to let you know we are on other platforms if you guys want to follow us. So yeah, we're almost at 500 on Instagram. We're a little over 500 on YouTube, and we just passed 7,500 on TikTok. So it's been cool to see.
Oh, for real. And again, I'm going to keep reemphasizing it because it's just true from the bottom of my heart. We appreciate every one of you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great rest of your day.